Number two thing we need is motivation, and motivation really is the thing that helps create the burning desire that we need in number one. Motivation, if we take the word apart, we have motive and we have action. It is a motive for action or a reason for action. And without reason for action, we usually don't act. So the key to motivation is finding the reason that will make us act. And as we go through this course, we will continually be asking why, why? And if the why is not strong enough, we have to create a stronger why, or we need to change the goal. So there are three forms of motivation. The first form is fear. I just scare people into doing what I want. It works. It doesn't work for long. But being a good studier of motivation, I have studied and found out that incentives can help us with motivation. If I give somebody a reward, they may work for me. That also is a temporary type thing. So we have one third form of motivation, which is the one we should all be working for, and it is attitude motivation. And when I am using attitude motivation, I am doing things because I want to, because it is self-fulfilling, it makes me feel good. And when I can shift everything to the want to, whether it is for me or whether I am the person trying to help motivate somebody, when I can work on attitude, that is what I need to be focusing on. If I want to change an attitude, I first have to understand how attitudes are developed. First of all, I don't do anything without thought of doing it. That's the first step of anything that I do. I have to think about it. So I think, I would like to go out and work in the lawn. That's the thought. The next thing that I do is action. I go out and I work in the lawn. I enjoy working in the lawn. It gives me some exercise. I enjoy doing it. But when I'm finished, there will be a result. The result depends on what I am seeing. And much of that was preconditioned into my brain. My attitude is developed by how I program my brain. One of the things that's interesting is my brain does not know the difference between fact and fiction. So I can program my brain any way I want to. I could have for 20 years thought I was terrible in working in the yard, doing yard work. But if today I start by saying, I am finally good at working in the lawn, my brain knows no different than it did before. Now, it's not going to accept that right away, but if I keep feeding that food to the brain, the lawn looks good. I am good working in the lawn. It is good. It is good. Eventually, I will reprogram my brain, and my brain will decide that I do good lawn work. So if I want to change my attitude toward anything, I create affirmations. Affirmations are affirming what I want. At first, they probably won't be true. The brain doesn't know any difference. When I'm using an affirmation, I should not start the affirmation with tomorrow I'm going to, or someday I will. It's as if it is happening right now. I am good at doing lawn work. And the brain knows no different. As long as I keep feeding it that, it will soon decide I am good at lawn work. Everything in my brain is programmed that way, just as a computer is. So whatever comes in, comes out. And I need to control what goes in so that what I want to come out comes out. Attitude is the only thing that we have full control over in our life. Three tools that we will be using throughout the program. First of all is the lesson manual. We will be using the lesson manual to establish our leadership, our personal leadership. We will be reprogramming our brain to those things that we want to have happen in our life in the future. The second tool that we will use is a planner. It will help us with our time management. One of the only things that we all have an equal amount of in our life is time. And that's not over the length of our life, but in a day's period of time. It doesn't matter how rich, how poor we are, we have 24 hours in a day's period of time. The difference between winning and losing is what I do with those 24 hours. We will spend time deciding what our priorities are, what our values are, what our principles are, and are we spending the right amount of time in those. And the third tool that we will use is a plan of action. And that's where we will decide where we are now. Then we will, after we know where we are now, then we will decide where we want to go. And after we decide where we go, we will create the action steps to get us there. Very much like a blueprint. One of the stories that I like to tell, if I had $200,000 right now to put toward a house, would I take the $200,000 to a builder and say, here, build me $200,000 worth of house? Of course I wouldn't do that. That's ridiculous, we say. However, most of us, that's exactly what we do with our life. I have 40, 50, 60, 70 years in front of me. Let's just let it happen. The idea of the plan of action is to create a plan to give us the action that we want for the rest of our life.